you're tall, you're strong, you're ready to go again. But that process it's slow, it's meticulous, but it's worth it in the end, right?
Dude, you just took a vegetable question
I know.
and made it awesome.
You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks podcast. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you guys about Desert Fox Golf. I've recently partnered up with them, and they have some awesome products that you definitely want to check out. They have something called the Phone Caddy, which is the best phone holder in golf. It comes in many different colors, and they even have ones with funny sayings on it, like, I work to support my golf habit, and it takes a lot of balls to play like me. If you are like me and like to use a golf app while you're playing, then this is the thing for you because it holds your phone in a convenient location right on the golf cart. They even have a cigar holder attachment for it. One of my favorite things is their drink aid tumblers. They have these awesome 17-ounce stainless tumblers with a screw-on lid to hold your favorite beverage while playing around a golf. They have different versions from the classic swing aid to nurse aid, hunting aid, fishing aid, and my personal favorite design, the Patriot Aid tumbler. Head over to desertfoxgolf.com and use the promo code Roughnecks for 10% off your order. But let's get into today's guest.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks podcast. This is episode 140, which means we're back with another Q&A episode. This is Q&A number 8, and joining me for the first time on the podcast is longtime friend who I lived with for 3 years, almost 4, but Mr. Dan Gowans, welcome to the Roughnecks podcast, finally.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, I started this podcast when we were roommates senior year?
Junior.
No, it was senior year because me and Teddy started Fanspeak junior year.
That's fair. Yeah.
We started Fanspeak.
Yeah.
It went terribly.
You started a podcast junior year.
It was terrible.
It didn't go well.
It was terrible. It was bad.
No, you had Teddy on there. It didn't go well.
And Teddy started this podcast too for, I think it was on the first 5 episodes. And then got too busy with like coaching or whatever. And we just kind of changed it from there. And he's like, just roll with it. And I was like, okay. And now I'm at episode 140. So things have changed a little bit from the time Teddy was on until now. But yeah.
Probably for the better.
God love you, Teddy. He's actually coming back on another episode. Now, I'll be honest, Teddy, if you're listening, I'm not going to be surprised if you cancel.
I wouldn't be.
Well, the day of. The day of.
Yeah.
It'll be the day of.
It'll be an hour before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, I can't do it. I'm like, dude, you were supposed to be here an hour ago. God love you, Teddy, but I would not be surprised. But I feel like Teddy will 100% be back on eventually. But yeah. But before we get too far into today's episode, I'll let you kind of tell the listeners who don't know you. I mean, I've talked about you on the podcast here and there, but like just the listeners who don't know who you are, like who is Dan Gowans?
He's not much.
That's what everybody says.
I know. It's
something.
That's because it's true.
What are you doing work-wise now?
So I work in supply chain. I got a business degree at Howell and my brother worked for the company, and he said, hey, we got a spot open on the team, and talked to the manager, did an interview, and been working there for a year and a half, almost 2 years in June.
Since pretty much you got out of college?
Yeah.
I say you, like we didn't get out of college at the same time, but
so that's
not weird to think about. Like
right
we've been
now.
out of school that long.
Yeah.
It literally feels like we just graduated May.
Yeah. I mean, I still have I wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm like, I gotta go to the
The other day, this isn't quite the same, but the other day, so Sierra didn't have to work. I had to work, but I had been off for a few days because of weather and people have been sick, so we were off. And I woke up and it was 8:30, and I woke up and I tapped her. I was like, "Hey, you're late." She works at 7. Usually we both work at 7, but she works at 7. I was like, "Hey, you're late." And then I went, "Oh shit, no, I'm late." Wait, it was like one of those when you wake up and you're like, oh shit, she's got to be at work. Wait, no, I have to be at work. Holy shit. She like told me later that day, she was like, I still can't get over the fact that you like woke up and like tried to tell me I was late, but it was you that was late. I was like, yeah, I know.
That happened a couple times where I had like 7 a.m. lifting when you had like the 10:30. I'm like, yo, it's 6:45. We gotta go. And you're like, no, you gotta go.
No, I'm good, buddy. You gotta lift.
Like, oh shit,
I don't have class till fucking noon. That was what was nice too about most. Like we always try to make our lifting times the same because of the fact that it helped us both get up better, and the fact that we had Glenn Bryan, good old Glenn Bryan. Dr. Bryan's class, the senior sim, we had that together at 8 a.m., which 8 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday.
That was rough.
You don't realize, like, that's the thing. Coming out of high school, you're like, 8 a.m.? That's nothing. And when you get in college, you're like, I never want to take an 8 a.m. class.
And even now, like, my work starts at 8 a.m., so I have to be up. But the days I work from home, I'm like, all right, 7:50.
The weird thing is, like, we were talking about this the other day where they're like, Cole, you do better when we work at 7. But if we work at 8, it's like 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
6 minutes. Like, you're a little past 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
But if I work at 7, I'm there at like 6:45.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't get it. And I'm like, I don't get it either. I don't know. It's because like I wake up at like 6:30 and I'm like, holy shit. Like I gotta get it ready.
Yeah.
If I wake up at 7:30, I'm like, I got like 10 more minutes so I can sleep. And then I wake up and it's like 7:45, 7:50, and I'm like, it takes me 10 minutes to get to work. I really got to get moving.
The earlier the start time, like 6 a.m. lifts.
Everybody was so worried about waking up.
Exactly. You're
that, like,
so worried
as
about
soon as that
up.
First alarm went off, you're like, I'm awake.
Yeah, you're like, I got to be up.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot go back to sleep. But then you got the 7 a.m. or like the 10 a.m. lifting, and you're just like, yeah.
What I never understood is how people are late to like 1 o'clock lifting.
No, that never made sense to me either.
You can't be late to that.
No, you can't screw that up.
That is a stupid strike.
Yeah.
Good old strikes. The old strikes.
Don't miss that.
But, this is a Q&A Friday. I know we're kind of taking this like a drinking episode so far, but which you're going to be on in a few weeks. You're going to come back and record a Hold My Beer episode, which is going to be, I feel like you'll have way more fun with. You good?
I got tangled.
But Q&A Fridays are where me and a guest will sit here and answer questions from the fans. I'm going to read off some 3 of the subjects, and Dan's going to pick one, and then we're going to go back and forth. So we're going to go with the first 3 subjects are alcohol choice, name change, and dating fail. Pick one of those subjects. Quit reading the email and just look at the subjects.
Alcohol
choice?
Yeah.
It's a good I feel like that's a good one to start with.
It's a good starter.
What is your favorite alcoholic beverage?
So it really depends.
I was gonna say you're definitely I feel like it changes.
Yeah. It comes in waves.
You have seasons.
Yeah, it does. In like during the summer, I don't mind having a margarita or a seltzer or something, but during the winter, give me some bourbon on the rocks. You know what I mean? Like, I want to feel warm inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. So it does change a little bit, but so my dad's a big bourbon guy, and as he started to get into it and kind of telling me about some of the stuff he's learned about it and all the trips that he's gone on, it's been really cool to learn how it's made, everything that goes into it, and then being able to appreciate some of the flavors. Because when we were in college and you have a bottle of whiskey, you just drink it, you just take shots. You don't appreciate it, but that's because we bought the cheap stuff, right? So that's the stuff that is, in my opinion, that's what it's made for.
Dude,
right?
I remember sophomore year when I lived at Stye by myself, I was like, I'm going to buy a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink it. I wanted to get in, because I was watching The Ranch, and they'd sit there and just pour a glass of whiskey, and I'm like, man, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I bought bottom shelf.
Yeah, and that's the issue.
That's the mistake. because I remember pouring that and going,
It tastes like nail polish.
it was awful.
It's terrible.
And if you mix it, it's not the worst thing.
There's shot whiskey, there's mixing whiskey, and then there's drinking whiskey.
Yes.
And there is levels.
A big difference.
There is a big difference between the three.
Yes.
And so shot whiskey, you can just take it and chase it, and you're okay. It doesn't taste good, but it gets the job done. There's mixing whiskey where it still tastes pretty good.
Like a Jack and Coke.
Right. And it's like, it still tastes good. And, you know, as long as it's mixed with something, you get some of the flavor and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But the sipping, like the drinking whiskey where you just pour some and it's
Drinking
nice,
like a
it's
Four
nice
Roses
bottle.
or
Right.
like nice.
Maker's Mark.
Yes.
Like, even that is like,
Like that's fairly cheap on. It's expensive in like our eyes.
Yeah.
But like it's fairly cheap on like the sipping bourbon whiskey scale.
Yeah. 100%.
It's the working man. I don't know, the working man's whiskey or something. I don't know. It's like, yeah,
That's a nice bottle to a lot of people.
Yes. I mean, my brother, like, he had a bottle that was specified. Like, whenever I watched his house, he's like, "Listen, you can drink anything in the house, just don't touch that cabinet."
Yep.
And it had like Four Roses, Maker Mark, like all those stuff. And he's like, "Just don't touch that."
They're nice bottles.
He's like, "You know what? I spent too much money on those. Like, those are my bottles.
Yeah.
That I
And you appreciate
every so often
exactly.
will use." And he's like, "I don't want them wasted."
Exactly.
And I get it. I mean, I do. And that's one of the things I've been trying to do, because like that's what I'd love to do. Like this summer with the Hold My Beer episodes.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to like get some cigars,
Mm-hmm.
get some like I've been trying to find like a good whiskey or something that can like sponsor the podcast, but like not necessarily sponsor the podcast, but that I just use for the drinking episodes.
Yeah.
That I like bring people to, like, hey, try this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to sit out on that patio.
Yeah.
And in the summer and record an episode and just sit there, smoke cigars, drink some whiskey, drink some freaking bourbon, whatever,
That'd be awesome.
and just sit there. And I'm like, that's what I want. That's my envision for this summer. That's hopefully what I'm gonna have happen. And I've been doing some research here and there, trying to find. But I also want somebody that, like, I want a whiskey or a cigar like that's gonna work with me too, because like I want to be able to like support each other through it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So your alcoholic, your favorite, like if you had to pick one.
If I had to pick one, it would be, I gotta go with beer, just because it's so, like, no matter what time of year.
But what kind of beer? Because that's the thing, is you'll drink an Elvis, like right now you're drinking Elvis juice, but you'll also drink a Bud Light, you'll drink a Miller Light, you'll drink a lot of different things.
I would not go with IPA. Those are not my favorite. They're very occasional.
Yes.
Like, again, it's something that, like, you start out with, you appreciate the flavor, you appreciate the process that it takes, and then you switch to a Busch Light.
So you just drink 30 Busch Lights and you're good to go.
or you just do that. If you're still in college.
No, this is my first time drinking all week.
Same.
Swear to God.
Same.
Which, surprisingly, was not the case in college or right after college.
I'm shocked.
Right after college was really bad.
Same.
Like, I would sit there and, like, get drunk pretty much every night. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, I got to be at work in 3 hours. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. It wasn't that bad.
I didn't have that very often, but I had that a few times.
It wasn't good, but it wasn't that bad.
So, but if you had to pick one beer, what would it be? You're a more wide range drinker than I am.
I know, and that's why it's tough. I think a Corona with a lime.
Really?
would
I
be-
expected a Miller. I don't know why.
So I was between that but a Corona with a lime,
There's something different about it.
as long as the lime's there.
Yes. The
'Cause-
lime does
so-
make a big difference.
So I was thinking Miller, and then I thought Corona, and I was like, well, you gotta have the lime. Then I thought Landshark, because it's basically Corona with a lime, right? But Corona with a lime does taste different than a Landshark. It's better.
See, me personally, and I don't know if it's because like I prefer Busch Light and that kind of stuff, but I like Landshark more than I like Corona.
It is simpler, and I think that's why you.
But
like
also,
it.
here's the thing
I
I
think-
look at
I
is
think you
like,
like it more because you don't have to do the effort of getting the lime in there.
you ever had a land shark with a lime as well?
I have not. I haven't really thought about doing that.
I've done it once, and it is very good. But I can also like I don't mind because like my brother-in-law would drink land shark, and I don't mind. I remember like he'd just hand me one, and I'd be like, "Well, I'm out of beer, so whatever." And I drink it, and I was like, "It's actually not that bad."
Yeah.
Because even my boss was like, first time I ever had land shark was like when your brother-in-law gave me one, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's pretty good."
Yeah,
And, like land shark, I feel like is an underrated beer.
100%. And like I remember, I think Ted was shopping. We were getting beer somewhere, and I was like, I've never had land shark, but I've had, Corona, and he was like, have you ever had like, Corona with a lime? Like, obviously, right? Like, it's the only way you drink it. He goes, land shark's basically a Corona, but you don't have to get the lime juice, or you don't have to get the limes. And I was like, oh, sold. Like, I'm in.
Dude, I'll never forget that Ted has introduced me to Lone Stars and Shiners.
Yeah, those are good.
We graduation night.
I know.
What was it that we finished off? Was it Shiners or Lone Stars?
Lone Stars. The bar was out of Lone Stars.
We ran out of Lone Stars.
Not we. The bar.
Yeah. Sorry, the bar.
The bar ran out of Lone
It
Stars.
was a bar where you walk up and grab your own beer,
the three of us went through the entire stock of Lone Stars.
Mainly, I feel like it was me and you because Teddy started drinking Shiners,
True.
and we just kept drinking Lone Stars, and eventually they were like, "Hey, we don't have any more."
Well, we went up and we were trying to get more, and there was no more. So we were like, "Hey, do you have any more Lone Stars?" Like,
No, you guys drank two
no.
12-packs.
They're like, no, we don't. I was like, guess we'll switch to Shiners.
Oh God, what a night!
Yeah, and then I had to wake you up the next morning.
Yeah, you did have to wake me up. That was
We were supposed to be
at the stadium
at
by
the
8.
stadium at no, I think it was earlier than that.
Was it 7?
I think so. And it was 7:50, and I was like, Cole, graduation's in 10 minutes. Get the fuck up.
And I remember getting up going, "Oh shit, I didn't shower.
You didn't
anything.
do anything.
I literally just threw on my cap and I threw on dress clothes, threw on my cap and gown, and we left." And I remember getting to the stadium, my mom looking at me and going, "You're still drunk, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yep."
I mean, I felt like shit, but I at least got up and showered, and I was like, I feel a little bit better.
I couldn't function.
I woke you up, I think, 4 times.
Yeah, you did. I remember every one of them, but I'm like, no.
You would get up and go, I'm up. I'm like, no, you're not.
Because I literally wake up and go, "I'm up," and then put my head back
Lay
down.
back down.
Yeah. Fucking graduation. That was a hell of a time. We'll get into that in the Hold My Beer episode. We'll talk about that. But my favorite alcoholic beverage, as no surprise to the Roughnecks listeners, is a good old Busch Light. Yeah. I mean, let's be real.
I'll teach you the finer things in life.
Well, listen, I've been expanding. I don't know if you noticed when you're walking down the stairs there to the left in that window, I drank some Voodoo Rangers.
Mm.
I like me some Voodoos. I'll drink the Elvis juice. I like the Elvis juice. I like, in the fall, the Sam Adams.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Oktoberfest?
Yes, the Oktoberfest. They also have like a fall pack.
Yes.
So they have some different type stuff. I did not like their winter pack. I tried it.
They're
There's
not.
too many.
I don't like Christmas beers.
There's not. I tried it because I like Sam Adams. So I was like, oh, I'll get it and I'll try it. And I tried it. And I was like, oh, the first, there was one maybe that I liked of the 4. And I was like,
The rest of them,
I can't do this anymore. So yeah, I've been expanding my horizons. So next question. We've only answered one question.
Yep.
This is rough.
Yeah.
We got books, or what did I say? Be a vegetable. I don't even remember what I said. All right, we're gonna go be a vegetable, name change, and dating fail.
I think it's his year.
It is my turn.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go with be a vegetable.
Okay.
If you had to be a vegetable for the rest of your life, what would you choose and why?
Yeah, I'll let you go first because I got no idea.
Oof. That's the thing. We alternate back and forth who answers first, and now I have to answer first.
Mm-hmm.
Tomato.
Is that a vegetable?
Okay, god damn it. I wasn't thinking about that aspect of it. there is the argument that it is not a vegetable. But can we pretend that it is a vegetable?
It's not an argument.
Fine, green pepper. Green pepper. Because of my logic still the same no matter which organism it is. Green pepper, because my thing is like you're out in the sun.
Yeah.
You get to be outside. Because you look like first thing that came to mind, I don't know why, was a carrot. I'm like, you're buried underneath the ground.
Yeah.
Broccoli, I don't know why that was another thing that came to mind.
I don't know either.
I don't know how broccoli was not something that I wanted to be. Green pepper, because it's something that I personally like, and you get to grow in the sun, and it takes time. Like you get to you really get to enjoy the sun.
Yeah,
that's my whole thought process behind this. I don't know.
I mean, that's any plant peppers, but okay.
But like a carrot grows underground.
That's fair.
That was my thought behind it.
Yeah.
An onion, they're underground, aren't they? Right? Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I started a garden for the first time this year, but I did it in buckets.
Don't look at me.
I don't know. I go green pepper. Green pepper is my vegetable that I'm gonna be.
Green pepper.
Should have said I like.
Okay, can I go? Can I go corn? That's not a vegetable.
Ooh, yeah, that's a vegetable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kern.
I'll be corn.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
I should have said that.
Because it's the same idea where you're out in the sun like that,
I
right?
mean, it fits like your town.
But it well, yes. But also, it's very seasonal, and there's a specific time, a specific way you're supposed to treat it and grow it and harvest it, and
Farmers love their corn.
All about timing. I mean, any plant really is a lot with timing, but corn especially. Like there's a seasonal aspect to it where like it becomes this, like, you see it start from the bottom and then it grows its way up and it gets cut down, right? And then it happens again. Same with just about any plant, but it's very
corn is different.
It's very visible with corn.
Corn,
right?
you can literally, like, after they chop it down the next year, because they usually clip the bean and cornfields, but you'll still see a corn stalk,
and you can see the process, right? And it's very visible, and so I think that it speaks to me a little bit, because when I'm doing well, it's very noticeable, and people notice it. My friends notice it when I'm doing really well. But then when I get cut down, right, and I feel pretty low.
I like this.
You like that?
Yeah, you're getting into it.
Yeah.
You're like really thinking about it.
Right. I always think about things.
I know.
But yeah, so like when I get cut down, like I get pretty low on myself, and my friends are like, "Hey, like, are you good? Right? Like, are you okay?" And I'm like, okay, I just got to build myself back up, right? And it's a process to get to that point where, you're tall, you're strong, you're ready to go again. But that process it's slow, it's meticulous, but it's worth it in the end, right?
Dude, you just took a vegetable question
I know.
and made it awesome.
I know.
Like, that was all, like, because, like, that empowers, like, the whole thing of this fucking podcast is, like, I'm a motivational podcast, but I'm not like this is what you need to do, this is the answer. I'm more of like, this is life stuff. We're going to take a vegetable question and we're going to make it motivational. And that's what I love about it. Like, you literally just took, like, I asked you if you could be a vegetable, and you were like, I'm like, corn, because corn, this. And I'm like, holy crap. He literally just related it to life.
Yeah.
He related a vegetable to life. But I feel like that also is what helps people connect.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they think about it and they're like, holy shit. Like you listen to it and you're like, man, I understand what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
People can be like, listen, you're going to get cut down in life. You're going to get knocked down. It's going to happen. People are going to, talk crap about you, all this. But then, like, if you were like, man, you're like corn. All right. What happens with corn at the end of the season? You get cut down.
Yeah.
What happens with corn the next season? It gets brought up.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap. Like, I understand what you're saying.
There's a process to it, and
everybody listens to things different ways.
And the best part about it is, like, a cornfield that has been cut down, rebuilt many, many times, usually produces the best corn,
Mhm.
right? Like, and
Everybody knows the best place to go to get the best corn.
That's the best part of
Believe
life
it or not.
is you get cut down and you build yourself back up even better, right? And then you get cut down again, but you build yourself back up even better. And as long as you keep doing that, going down that path of building yourself back up, you'll always be better in the end.
I mean, it goes, and just tying it to the podcast, it goes hand in hand with like the slogan of "Grab the bull by the horns." Like, we are the bull rider. Life is the bull. We're gonna get knocked down. It's inevitable. Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Nobody goes through life in a perfect positive slope. That it doesn't exist.
No.
You're gonna get knocked down. Some people's knockdowns are higher or lower than others. Whatever.
Yep.
You're gonna get knocked down, but you have two choices. You can either be that corn that doesn't grow again. You can be the person that doesn't get back up on the bull, or you can fucking get up, grab the bull by the horns, or you can get up and become that fucking awesome corn stalk that produces 6 years of corn. It's whatever you want to create. Like, it really is that, and that's the thing with life. Those are stupid examples, but it's true. Like, you have two options in life. You can either fold or excel.
Yeah.
You can be mediocre, but like, if you're being mediocre at the same time, you're either folding or excelling.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, you're either expected to fail and you're doing better than you're always folding or excelling.
Yep.
There's one, like, you can be mediocre, yes, I get it, but you're either doing one or the other.
Yep.
Holy crap. A vegetable question
Just
turned into a deep talk. So now the next three, I'm ignoring the top two because I know what they are. I don't know what most of these questions are, to be honest, but we're going to go shoes, dating, fail, beach versus mountains.
Ooh, beach versus mountains.
Obviously, I feel like this is from Tyler Ruff, and it's self-explanatory. Beach or mountains?
I'm going to go with mountains. I love going to the beach. Love it.
Why are you stealing my answer? Like, you're repeating the things that I was thinking in my head.
I know because
we're the same with this.
Yeah. I love going to the beach for like a week.
Yep.
And like even 2 weeks, like I'm in. But after those 2 weeks, my body is drained. And like, I guess maybe it's because we use it as a vacation spot where the beach, you're on the beach every day, you're in the water every day. Maybe if you lived on the beach, you wouldn't do that, and it would be great. Just being by the ocean is really, really cool, and hearing the sounds and like waking up to that and feeling that breeze, it's a really good environment. But being on the beach every day is really exhausting, physically and kind of mentally too. But being in the mountains, something about like when I'm driving to the beach, when I'm driving to like North Carolina or something, and you go through the mountains, and like we just went to Tennessee recently, like my family did. Dude, just being in the hills and being in the mountains and just seeing that environment is so, like, it fills me up.
I'll never forget the first time I drove myself. I was driving to North Carolina, to Blue Ridge Mountains. Drove through Tennessee, and it was like through Tennessee where like you're going left, you're going right, you're going left, and you're going up the entire time. Left, right, left, right. Dark, 11:30 at night.
It's terrifying.
Pouring down rain.
Terrifying.
The scariest thing ever. But I remember coming back. Like, it was cool as shit. Like, when I was going, I was like, God, I remember. Like, and it's something I'll always remember. Like,
yeah.
It's dark. It's fucking raining. And I'm driving through these mountains in a fucking Honda. I hope I make it there. Trying to get to North Carolina and Tennessee. And I remember, like, coming back. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, if I was driving at daytime, like, this is what I was missing the entire time I was driving. Because I remember coming back and I was like, this is beautiful.
It's amazing.
It literally, like, it is like speech, like it takes your breath away.
And it doesn't matter how many times I see it. Like the beach to me,
It gets better every time.
the beach to me, a beach is a beach. Like, maybe I don't have a good perspective on it because I've really only been to North Carolina, Atlantic Ocean Beach, where it's muddy, it's dirty, and
I want to see a Clearwater beach.
I've been to Cayman. I've seen the Clearwater, breathtaking. I want to go back, but
like where you're standing in water and you're looking down at
and
your
you can
feet
see your
going,
feet, yeah.
holy shit.
Or you look out 20, 30 feet
Yeah.
and you can still see the bottom and
Yeah.
you can see the coral reef. It's amazing. But
Goals. One day.
that gets to a point where it's like, yeah, okay, I can see my feet. Yeah, okay, I can see the bottom of the ocean. Like, it to a degree, it gets something like you're desensitized to, and it doesn't take very long. But there's something about the massive rolling hills or like mountains.
Well, you can literally look over there and go, somebody lives there and nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
And somebody lives there and they're on a TV show. Like they might be on a TV. Like the mountains are something, and it's like, yes, the view looks the same to a person who doesn't like the mountains. You look at it going, wow.
Yeah. There's just something about it that to me is
Like I'm looking at thousands of miles.
It's incredible. The formation of it, and like every single one is different. Every single one has its own, like path that you have to go up in order to get up it safely. Every single one has, different people that, have built a house on the side of it. And, I went to like Tennessee, like I said, and we stayed in a house on the side of a hill. And it was like, I don't know how this thing is standing.
It's on 4 posts that are 40 foot long.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It felt like it was going to fall over at any point.
Where you're walking out on
But
a
it
deck
never
looking
did.
down going,
Yeah.
oh, that's a far
But
drop.
then you look straight out and you see the hill across from you, and there's nothing but trees, and the sun's right over it, and you're just like, yeah, this is cool. Like, and it never got old. Every single day I got up, saw the sun come over that mountain, or like that little hill. I was like, this is awesome.
Don't
Like,
get me wrong, a beach sunrise or a beach sunset,
amazing.
awesome.
The colors.
Sunrise, well, like, I'll be honest, beach or mountain, sunrise, sunset, amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome no matter which one you go to.
Agreed.
Personally, I'd enjoy a mountain more. I'm like you. I pick mountains over beach. I'm the same way. Our family goes to the beach every 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's just like our family vacation. We go to the beach, North Carolina, Outer Banks. That's where we go. It's what we do. And don't get me wrong. After a week, I'm the same way. After a week, I'm good.
Yeah.
I want out.
Yeah, I want to go home.
Like, I'm tired of being sandy. I'm tired of being chafed because of the sand. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
I had a great time.
The sun is.
There was only one
exhausting.
time. I'll be honest. It was right before. It was the last time we went, so it would have been 2 years ago. So I think it was senior year.
Okay.
It would have been right after senior year. 2 years.
Yeah.
Right after senior year.
Yeah.
We went to North Carolina, family vacation. I was sitting on the beach that night before we were supposed to leave. Me and my buddy Alex, who were sitting there drinking beer. He ended up going back to his house because his family had a house not too far from ours. I was sitting there on the beach, and I just remember sitting there thinking, like, I'm not going to go home. And I'm also sitting there going, I don't know how the hell I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to go home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I remember I literally contemplated the entire night. I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning. I quit drinking. I tried to get the alcohol out of the question. I quit drinking. And I remember staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning going, what if I just stay here and just get a lifeguard job or just like figure shit out?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'll just do it. Obviously, I didn't end up doing that. I came home, obviously. But it was like, but I feel like I wouldn't have liked it as much. Now, me, if you were like, hey, because I also had this moment as well, where my boss told me a story. He was like, hey, it's not my biggest regret or anything. Like, I do regret it, but also I have a wife and 2 kids, or 3 kids now. So he's like, I have a beautiful family. Like, I don't regret it. I had awesome things that came out of it. When he got out of high school, he was a hunter, big hunter, and like wanted to do the outfitter type stuff, go out west, guided hunts, that type of stuff. Like, wanted to work for those type of people. He was calling outfitters and stuff, like just calling them. He finally got one in Idaho, to where he would have been in like Idaho for 4 months, Montana for 4 months, this other state for like he would have been kind of traveling around depending on the seasons.
Yeah.
In the West. And he got it, but then he got a call from the energy co-op, and they offered him a job, and his dad was like, at 18 years old, you don't get that job offer.
Yeah.
And he stayed home and took it 3 days before, or like a week before he was supposed to go out west. And he's like, and after watching Yellowstone, I'll be honest, after watching Yellowstone especially, have you ever watched Yellowstone?
I haven't.
What? You haven't watched it?
No.
God, you gotta watch it, dude.
You know I don't watch TV.
Dude, you gotta watch Yellowstone. You'll love it.
I know.
And it'll make you want to go out west.
I mean, I already want to do that anyway.
It'll make you even more want to go out west.
Well, that's
Because
not
that's
good.
what Brent, who you just met recently.
That's not good.
Yeah, I know. Why do you think I wanted to leave so bad? This is where the story's going. But Brent, that I met recently,
Mm-hmm.
he just started recently watching it, and then like he was like, "Yeah, so I got through a season of Yellowstone." I was like, "Makes you want to go out west?" He's like, "Fuck, dude."
Yeah.
Like, he's always been like the same type of person. Like, out west would be awesome, but after watching it, you're like, I really want to go out. Like, when I like a season or 2 in, I started looking up ranches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where can I go work?
Yep.
Where can I go out west and work?
Yeah.
Like, I was literally constantly looking jobs. Where can I go out west? Where can I find a ranch job with no experience? Like, I'll go be the grunt. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to go out there, work my way up.
Be there.
But so at one point, like after my boss told me that story, I remember after watching Yellowstone, all this stuff kind of played in. Like, it's always been in the back of my mind, but I finally remember looking at him and going, I think I'm going to do it. He's like, what? I think I'm going to go out west and just figure it out.
Yeah.
I literally was like probably a month away. I had not exactly a plan, but I was just going to drive out there and figure shit out. Like, I was so close to doing it. In the back, like, literally, like, I was dead set. Like, I'm just going to do this.
That is one area where me and you are so different.
You'll have a plan.
Oh,
I'll just
buddy.
figure it out.
Oh, buddy. I'll have it planned out.
See, but we're similar but the same. It depends on what it is.
Wait,
Because
say that again.
we're similar but the same. What?
Yeah.
We're similar but different.
There you go.
That's what I meant to say. You know what I mean? So, like, there's certain things, like, when I plan those Cabruin trips,
Yep.
I used to be like, this is what we're doing. This is what's happening. This person has this meal. And my buddy one time was like, dude, we'll just figure meals out. And I'm like, no, like, you have breakfast. I have dinner. You have lunch. Like, and he was like, dude, just fucking figure it out. And I'm like, no, like, it has to be this way.
Yeah.
So, like, certain things I'm like OCD about.
Yep.
You're more OCD than I am, though. In a good way.
In different aspects, though.
Yes.
So, like, you would go drive out west and just figure it out.
Yes.
Whereas I would be planning out, like, I have a job set up. I have this thing, ready to go. I have a place to stay. I have all these things set up, and I won't go and I won't make that move until I have those things set up. But the OCD thing for me is more of like a organization.
Yes.
It's the organization of like having a plan. That's where I'm OCD.
I would have I'm one of those people like spontaneous, like I'll do it. But then I got out there and been like, oh fuck,
yeah,
oh fuck,
yeah,
oh fuck. I'd have freaked out because like the OCD part of me would have kicked in. Like, I don't have a job, I don't have a place to stay, I don't have this, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, holy shit.
And you panic.
Yes, I would have panicked. But like, I feel like it would have been cool, scary, an experience you can never get again.
Well, that's
That you hope you never get again. Also,
well, that's the one thing about like even this podcast for you, where you have to plan things out. You have to get everything scheduled. You have to.
I'm planned
You have
until
to think these things through,
I am planned through March.
and that for you, I happen to know, is a difficult thing.
College changed that for me a little bit.
No, I know.
So like
Freshman year,
freshman year
it
was like what the fuck ever.
You just go do
didn't
whatever.
matter.
Didn't matter.
After freshman year, when GPA went to shit, I was like, I need to plan more. So
Yeah.
sophomore me
That wasn't the only thing.
improved. Junior year improved and declined at the same time because we all four lived together in that group of, hey, let's just drink beer tonight. Okay.
Double?
And I had double. No, the double helped me because I actually focused more.
I know.
Yeah, I gotta give the reference to the double. Double was we'd go down to the cafeteria that was 24/7 dining, and would get a double shot of espresso twice, and make a coffee. It'd be a double espresso, and we'd mix it with milk and ice, and it'd just be a nice coffee with a double espresso.
It's like 10:45 at night. We're getting a quad shot of
But-
fucking espresso.
But like, Sierra gives me shit. She's like, "You'll drink a Monster and fall asleep 5 minutes later," and I'm like, "Yeah." Like, because you don't realize, like in college, like I drink doubles and be up half the night.
It was at least four days a week.
Literally. I always remember Ted peeking his head in our room because me and you lived in the same room,
We would be
Ted was
ready
in
to
the room.
sleep.
and he'd be like, double. He'd be like, I mean, I could use a sandwich too.
I mean, all right.
That's what I missed junior year, dude. We used to go down and make those sandwiches,
You know,
and I used to make bomb ass salads,
fucking pretzel buns, man.
pretzel buns with the panini bread.
Yeah.
That was the best year. That was the best year in general.
Mm-hmm.
Food wise was the best year. People, just the year in general. Oh,
It was great.
what a hell of a year. We'll get more into that. So we're both mounts. At the end of that whole thing, we're both mountains.
Mountains.
A very like this or that question. We made it 20 minutes long, but I love it. So you picked that one. So I don't even remember. God damn it. Dating moments, off the grid, name change. I just gotta get this name change out of the way. It's been on here for too long. If you could change your name, what would it be and why? Do we want to go both? Like, do we want to pick like first name or last name or both names? Like, what do you think?
I feel like that's a first name thing.
Let's just change our first name. Same
Yeah.
last name,
Yeah.
different first name if we had to pick it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oof. Nixon. I gotta think of my name. Nixon. Like, what's bad is the first thing that comes to mind is Richard, because obviously, like, Richard Nixon, the president, like, that's always the first thing that comes to mind for me. But I feel like if I could change my name, I'd rather be a Colt 10 than a Colt.
Okay.
I don't know why. I've always liked the name Colt 10, but also, like, here's what would have been weird, though. My brother's name was Clayton,
Yeah.
and then you would have had Colt 10.
Mm-hmm.
But also, what's also strange is in my brother-in-law's family, there's a
Yeah.
Clayton and Colton.
Yeah.
So, like, it's weird. I don't know. I'm going to come up with something different. Joseph. Go by Joe. Or Joey. Or, like, Joe,
You want to be a Joe?
Joe Nixon.
You want to be a Joe?
Joe Nixon. Joe Mixon. Think about it. That's not a bad name.
That's a basic name.
Joseph. Josiah. Joe. God damn it. I'm trying to think of something cool and I can't think of it.
You're trying to think of something cool and you went with Joe.
Joseph. All right. Short for Joe. Or Joe for short. I have always liked the name Ranger.
I wonder why.
Shut up. It's not even. No, you know what? name I've always wanted to name my kid, but I realized it was a better dog name than a person name. Remington.
That's not a bad person name.
Call him Remy.
Yeah. That's not bad.
We'll play with a quarterback named Remy.
It's not bad.
A semester.
Yeah. That's fine.
Remington was always a name that I loved. I was pissed because my sister stole my first child's name.
I doubt she stole it, but okay.
No, we had this conversation. She hated it. She didn't like it. My brother-in-law liked it, and she didn't. But like, not hated it, but like, she wasn't like necessarily fond of it. But at the end of the day, like, they had to make a decision. Brantley. I was like,
yeah.
boy, girl, perfect.
Yeah.
Brantley. And now my niece is named Brantley. God love you, Brantley. I love Brantley. But I was like, I told my sister one day, I was like, you stole my fucking name.
Stole my name.
You can't hear him on the mic. I always wanted Brantley. I don't know. So if I had to rename myself, I'd probably go with
I could see you as a Remy, though.
Remy.
Yeah.
I'd go with Remington or like a full name Remington.
I could
go
see,
by Remy.
I could see a Remy.
I could go with Remy. I'll go with Remy.
So I wouldn't because of like what my name is from my grandpa.
I still have primer.
So I don't like my name is more of like a family thing. So I don't really want to change it.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
A lot of people in college and in high school, they always told me I look like a Nick.
I could see that.
Yeah, and apparently, in college freshman year,
I see a Josh.
I wonder why.
I see Josh.
You know brother's name?
I know, but like,
So
you look more like Josh than your brother does.
that's fair.
Kind of.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But like, I look at you and I'm like, the beard. The beard's what throws me off. And every Josh I know has a beard like.
See, because of the beard, though, I kind of want it to be like Viking, you know?
Yeah.
If it was Nordic.
So that's where the Nick probably comes into play.
I have no idea. But apparently freshman year, I responded to Nick for like a month to somebody. Like somebody was calling me Nick and I was responding to it and I had no idea.
Freshman year. I try to forget freshman year. Not forget it.
No, I blocked it out.
There's a lot of things and people that happen.
I blocked that out a while ago.
All right, next question. Next question. We got embarrassing admiration dating moments.
Let's go admiration. That'll be a good one.
I picked the wrong one.
Yeah, you did.
Listen, it's weird watching it on the TV because I need to just watch it on TV. Admiration. Who do you admire the most in life?
For me, it is split between two people.
Okay.
My dad.
Biggie. Shout out Biggie.
Shout out Biggie.
Biggie's got a Roughnecks t-shirt.
Yes, he does. He wears it too. I got mine on right now.
Do you really?
Yeah.
All right. When we take a picture later, you have to take the bonfire hoodie up. The legendary bonfire hoodie. Everybody knows the bonfire hoodie. Yes. The bonfire hoodie's awesome. I knew I'd know it, and I was like, I really hope he has his t-shirt on underneath.
I do have it on. So my dad built his life from nothing. Not nothing. I don't want to say nothing. He did not have a lot growing up and moved out of the house when he was 18, got a job, went to night school, and he figured it out. And to me, that is what I want to be able to do in my life. And so him being that example is incredible to me. And he doesn't talk a lot about it, which I need to be better about asking about.
The weird part about the only thing I'll say about you, he doesn't come off as that. Like,
no.
he didn't come off as like, I have nothing.
Yeah.
I came from nothing. Like, he doesn't talk like, he acts like, you know what? Like, like when you talk to your dad, it's a genuine conversation. Always.
Yep.
Always a genuine conversation. Honest, nice guy. And it's just one of those that, like, when you talk to him, it's like, you feel better afterwards, but you're also going, I want to be better.
Yeah.
And it's not even like you need to do this.
Right.
It's like, just when you talk to him, you're like, man, like, it just inspires you.
It gives you motivation to be better.
He is an inspiring person.
Yeah. And he got a job out of high school, barely graduated high school, was a troublemaker, we'll go with that, in high school. And he got a job, he moved out, went to night school. He did that for years, and it wasn't like a 4 years thing. I don't know how old he was when he graduated, but it wasn't a 4-year college thing. But he got his bachelor's, and he had, how many years of experience, and he built himself up from essentially what I'll call nothing. Was probably more
Which
than a lot
nothing is. Well, I'm not trying to knock it or anything. I'm just saying nothing to everybody's different.
Exactly.
But like, he came from the bottom.
Right. He didn't have a lot growing up. He wasn't always guaranteed 3 hot meals a day.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great child life, right? And he built himself up from that and made himself who he is. And he did that on his own. And he has this understanding of everything that is incredible to me that I want to have. And I need to be better about asking about it because he has all this knowledge. And to me, like, sometimes it gets annoying where like I'm like, I ask him a simple question and I just want a simple answer, right? And then he'll go into 20 minutes, dude, of like,
what's weird is
like I don't care. Like, I don't care. Just give me.
I can talk to my dad about something, and he'd go into this big long thing, and I'm just like, you lose interest.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my boss, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, all right, yeah, I'm following what you're saying. And it's certain, and I feel like because it's your dad, and that's what's tough is like, you're trying to distinguish that, like, you're my dad,
right?
I love you, like, obviously you love him and like all that stuff, but then it's like, you're dropping all this knowledge. You're trying to tell me what to do,
right? And it feels like
that. But it's not what he's trying to do. Yeah, and that's the hardest thing as a son to understand.
Being able to differentiate between him trying to teach me something and him just like talking to talk, is difficult for me, and I need to be better about listening, right?
Yep,
and
we all do.
100%.
I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah. So the other person I would say that is my motivator is my grandpa on my mom's side, and that's who I'm named after, and everything about me and him, like, we're the same person, and so every time like me and him are together, we're just it's like we're friends. It's not a grandpa and a grandson. It's like we're best friends, and we have the same sense of humor. We have the same personality. We say the same jokes. Like, we'll say the same thing at the same time. And my parents and like my whole family just like looks over at us, laughs, and goes, "You're well named." and like that to me, it's a joke to them, but to me, it means the world. Because,
it's really meaningful to you. Because especially like that's where you're named from.
And so he's a successful guy. He's a good guy, and he's everywhere he goes, people love him, and even like my grandma too. Like, everybody loves my grandparents, and they're sweet people. And so like for people to say, "Hey, you're like the same person as that guy," that means the world to me.
Well, I'm sure it means the world to him as well.
I bet it does too. Yeah, I bet it does.
Because, like, you know, I look at, I wasn't named after, well, all of our family, all of my siblings, like, have some correlation, but usually it's between our middle names.
Yeah.
Like, Nathaniel was, like, after, like, my dad's, like, I was actually named after, my middle name came from my dad's Native American uncle.
Okay.
Like, legit Native, like,
Yeah.
or something, like, long relation, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was, like, because I remember when I finally learned it, I was like, damn, that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Like it's a really cool to, like, learn why you're named the way you are. And
Right.
everybody has, there's very, like, yeah, everybody has those, like, we couldn't think of a name, so we gave you this.
Yeah.
But, like, being from, like, because my nephew, his name is Curtis Beamer Painter. My brother-in-law's name is Curtis Painter. My brother-in-law's dad's name is Curtis Painter. My brother-in-law's grandpa's name is Curtis Painter. Like, he's the fourth generation. My nephew is of Curtis Painters.
Yeah.
And, like, you see a picture, and they're all four still alive. And you see a picture of it, and you're like, that's 4 generations.
Yeah, that's cool.
Of them. Like, that's really cool. I didn't have quite anything like that, but, like, I see stuff like that, and, like, it's really cool to see being named after someone, and just knowing where you come from, knowing your family history.
Yeah.
And that comes with getting older. Like, when we were, like, in high school, we were like, yeah, cool. I feel like as we get older, it's
See,
like,
I was never like that.
I was, but I was. The difference with I was, but I kind of ignored it a little bit. But having older siblings is where I was, like, paying a little more attention.
Yeah.
My siblings are paying, and, like, dude, I'll be honest, like, now, you see that little those little, like, house things.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents made those and painted those.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 of them down here. I have, like, 8 of them upstairs. I have Christmas decorations. I have that Ohio State thing. Like, all these things my grandparents made, I will never get rid of.
Yeah.
Because it's family stuff. I, like, on the bottom of those, you'll see, like, Grandmom 1985.
Yeah.
That's when they made it. Like, some of those are that old.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy shit. Like, I'm never getting rid of this.
Yeah, that's cool.
But going back to the question, for me, I have 2 people that are obvious. One person that I'm going to give a kind of a shout out to, in a way. So, one, and it's somebody that I do admire and pay attention to what they're doing. One, obviously, like, 1 and 2 are obviously, like, my parents.
Yeah.
And I've said it on this podcast before. My parents, I still believe, at 60-some years old, could outwork me. I still believe it.
100%.
My parents are too, like, my dad came over 4 times, 5 times, and helped me with this, just spackling the fucking basement, because I'd never done it before.
Yeah.
And but it was one of the coolest things, too, when he came over last night. And he goes, and I was like, I just need you to come look at it. Like, I've never done it. I don't know if it's good enough to, like, paint. Then he came over and he was like, you did a really good job. And it's like one of those moments where your dad tells you that, and he's, like, not intended, like, you did awesome.
Yeah.
It was just one of those, like, he's like, you did a really good job. And I was just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like,
You feel good.
I felt so good. And he told me he did a really good job. And it wasn't like intended to be like this big superstar moment, but it felt like a superstar moment.
Yep.
And I was like, hell yeah. And, like, but my parents, man, 60 years old, still are out in the summer, cutting firewood, splitting firewood, still heat their house with wood, do not pay for anything. Like, they literally heat their house all winter long with wood.
Yeah.
If they wake up in the morning cold, it's their own fault. And I feel bad sometimes because since I moved out, I was always the one that got
You
firewood.
can't help, yeah.
I don't help I help when I can, but I don't help as much.
Yeah.
And then you realize also when you move out how many tools you don't have that you used of your dad's.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Because I remember I was over here doing something on the patio, and I was like, yeah, I got one of those. And I was like, no, Dad has one of those. I don't have one of those.
Yeah.
But, like, my parents are probably my biggest inspiration in life.
So,
It's like, if I get to that age, because my parents were like, oh yeah, I'm like, no, when I'm your age, I really hope I'm in the condition you guys are in, doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah. And so like along the same lines of your dad giving you that compliment, and it's not supposed to be.
It's not a big thing.
It's not supposed to be a big
That's not
thing,
what
but it
they
sticks with
intended.
you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So one thing that stuck with me was I was going through confirmation in church, and I was raised in the church. I've been a Christian my whole life, and when I was getting confirmed, I had to get up and give a speech and talk about my faith and what it means to me.
And you love giving speeches.
I love it. It's my favorite.
That is sarcasm for the people who are listening.
It is probably my worst fear.
That's what I was like when you went up on like dad. Well, we did Dad's Day and Mom's Day at the same time. So I was like, fuck, Dan's fucked. He's going to give 2 speeches at once.
Yeah. And I was fucked.
You did a very good job.
I cried my ass off.
But even like, I feel like Teddy and like me, like all of us, we were like, I don't know, maybe some of the other people who didn't like know you like that, but I feel like most of us were like, that was from the heart.
Yeah.
And
I wanted it to be because I knew how much it meant to them.
It was fucking from the heart.
Yeah. So,
and I feel like I was the same. It's hard to get through Mom's Day and Dad's. It's hard.
I mean, I can't think about it. I still cry.
I want to cry right now just thinking about it. Like
it was.
For those of you who don't know, like we have this thing in football where when you're a senior, usually it's Friday before the last game, Dad's night.
Yes.
Your dad comes if you're a senior, and you get up in front of the whole team with your dad and basically give a speech on what they mean to you.
Yeah.
The banquet after the season is Mom's Day. You get up in front of the whole team and tell your whole team and all of their families what your mother means to you.
Yep.
We had Mom's Day because of COVID and everything. We had Mom's Day and Dad's Night combined into one in front of the whole team and it was in front of the whole. It was at the banquet.
It was in front of the whole team that they were there in person, and then they had a Zoom call that was in front of all the families that felt like being there. So like you got an invite that was like private, but you could forward it to your families.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just.
We had a shit ton of people watching us give a speech.
It wasn't just the team who were like, that's your guys, that's your brothers. And it wasn't just their families, it was their extended families and your extended family. Yeah. And it was just a lot.
You gave a speech about both your parents in front of a lot of people, and it was tough. And because both of those speeches, I knew, like from freshman year, I remember watching it. I'm like, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Just watching, I was like, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna go sit there because I'm literally like tearing up right now thinking about it, going through it. Like you're gonna cry talking about your dad. You're gonna cry talking about your mom because you realize how much they did for you.
Yep.
And I feel like freshman year was when I really started to realize Mom's Day and Dad's Night. That's when I really started to realize holy shit. Because I remember other people giving their speeches. I'm like, how much our parents do for us.
Yeah. And I've always known. That's the other thing too. Is you've always known, and you always have
appreciated.
You've always appreciated it, but at the same time, it doesn't really hit you until somebody else starts talking about their parents, and then you're like, oh. And then you hear it again the next year about what their parents did for them. You're like, yeah, that happened too.
And I don't mean this in a bad way. But the people that had it worse than us.
Yeah.
Then you realize holy shit.
Yeah, I was okay.
I really had it. I thought our family was struggling. We weren't struggling. They were doing everything they could.
Yeah,
they were living comfortable.
Yeah.
Comfortable, and I was like, well, just.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what's his name? Jordan, linebacker.
King.
Like I mean, he had how many siblings?
Yeah.
And his dad was a trucker, literally lived on the road just to try to provide for the family.
Yeah, him and Weech.
Weech.
Those two stories like hit me hard.
Hey, man.
Especially Weech, because I was so close with him.
I remember talking to like my boss, my coworker. I was like, you know what? One of the coolest things about like college, you're around a lot of different style kids.
Yeah.
I was like, we had kids from California, we had kids from Texas, we had kids from New Hampshire, we had kids like every state that you could probably think of. We had a kid from there that grew up in a different economical situation. Some of them, like I was like, I played with kids that were homeless at some points.
Yeah.
Like literally homeless. And they're like, seriously? I was like, no, but like they literally would tell us stories about how they were homeless the entire time they weren't back home for the summer.
Yeah.
And like the best time, like they loved coming to campus because then they actually get to live in something.
They had a roof over their
Yeah.
head.
And like, I was like, you got to, it made you appreciate life and made you appreciate what your parents did a lot more because you got to see, especially playing football at Ohio Wesleyan. You got every different.
Like when
story.
I talked about my dad, and I talked about some of the stuff that he talked about with his dad, who passed away that summer before, I learned a lot about what life was like for him as a kid, and on top of that, what he did for his family and all the sacrifices he's made and to be where we are today. And it was just there was a lot of things that came to light that I didn't know about, that he didn't tell me about until his dad passed away. And I was like, it meant the world to me. And so talking about it at that speech, I know made him really happy.
Teddy, like all of us were like, fuck, he's struggling.
Yeah.
He's struggling.
I'm right now struggling.
Yeah.
But so yeah. Anyway, back to my story. One compliment that my dad gave me that wasn't supposed to be maybe what it was.
A big compliment, yeah.
But it was a big compliment. I gave up. I went up. I gave the speech about what my faith is to me, and I came back down, and my whole family is just like, good job, well done, like whatever, right? It was just some words that I threw together for like while I was at this little retreat, and my dad came up to me after and sobbed. First time I've ever seen my dad crying, let alone
and like
sobbing.
after, like especially you're a little younger, so you're like,
I'm like,
what is going on?
Right? And
what do I do?
Like, what is happening? And he's just like, he's his tears rolling down his face, and like I was just like, what is happening right now? He goes, I'm so proud of you. I was like, damn it! It's like I held it together for so long. And I was like, this is a big deal for me, for my family. Like everybody's appreciating this. And then but I was good with it, right? I knew, who I was, and I knew what my faith was, and I was talking about it, and I was comfortable with that. And then my dad came up to me crying, and I was just like, what is happening? He goes, I'm so proud of you. I was like, shit. So I just started crying. We just cried together for 15 seconds in the back of the room.
I got a compliment for you that you're not going to be expecting.
Okay.
Which is nothing like I've really super admitted. Which I know you're probably really confused at this point, but
a little bit.
The one thing I've always been impressed by is your faith. Because you are you're strong in your faith, but you're not one that I'm gonna push it. Like you need to be this.
Yeah.
You're never like that. But watching you, I remember all through college watching you, and I remember a few times I was like, I'm gonna start reading the Bible.
Yeah.
And I started. I'll be honest. I started a couple times and then it faded out.
Yep.
And this year, actually, I've got through a decent amount. Like I got through a decent amount last year, but this year I was like, you know what? I'm restarting. I'm reading the whole Bible this year, and I'm like, I'm not going to be the person that's going to go to church on Sundays and do all that. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read the Bible, and I'm slowly going to grow my faith. But I will say, one of the big inspirations for that is from you. From you, there's two people. From you and my grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma, because I will never forget the day. And I thought it was funny when she told me. But I was in high school, I just was being dumb. And she was like, you need to focus on Jesus. And I remember looking at her going, okay, Grandma.
Yeah, okay.
And thinking like, what the fuck ever.
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
Because like, I believe like our family is a family that believes, but like we're not big, like we're not churchgoers. We're not super like preaching type. Yep. And like, that's what I liked about you. That's what I like about, I don't like being preached to.
Yep.
I just like people that live that lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
That's who they are. Like you were an HSA. You were a person that went to, what did he call it?
I can't even think of it.
Spiritual athletes. Something spiritual. What did he do? What did he call it?
I don't know. I don't remember what it was called.
What was his name? I can't even remember his name. Do you remember?
Doug.
Doug. I think it was called Athletes in Action. Athletes in Action. So you used to go to Athletes in Action. I don't want to say every time. You went most of the time.
Yeah, I did.
I'd say like 9 times out of 10 you went.
Yeah.
And it was like Monday nights. And I went once.
Yeah, I brought you with me.
And that was it for me. But like, honestly, like you did inspire me not to like, I'm not the person that's going to be preaching to you.
Yeah.
But I'm the person that's going to be practicing that you wouldn't expect.
And I think that is a big part of the faith that has been lost. Not lost, but it's been put on the back burner. And it's more about the show than it is about.
I feel like it's too forced sometimes.
It can be. Even it.
And like, let's be real. As kids, do we like being told what to do?
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah.
I'd rather figure it out for myself.
Right. And even so, like at my church, we would go to. There was like a traditional service, and then there was a. Not a kids service, but a more like conventional, I guess you would call it.
Okay.
Where the music wasn't as traditional and it was more like modern, and the sermons were a little more laid back. They weren't as serious. It was a little more kid friendly, I guess. And so they would start doing these things where they would say, okay, after the service, we have these, people gathering in this corner of the room. When the sermon's over, when the service is over, everybody can go over there and you can get, you can bring whatever you want to the table and get, you can get, prayed for about that. You don't have to share if you don't want to, that kind of stuff. And then it turned into the pastor would come up at the end of the sermon and say, well, we've been praying and we feel like God's calling us to talk to somebody with a right hip injury. Huh?
That's me.
Like, yeah, I have a right hip injury. I also have a left hip injury, a right shoulder injury, a right knee injury, a right ankle knee. Like, really?
All right, sorry, time out. Pause from all this.
Okay.
Is there any body part currently that bothers you like every day?
Yes.
Which one?
All of it.
Fair enough.
No.
Certain things with me,
so
like we'll be doing things at work, and I'll literally look at them and go, My elbow's fucked.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, my elbow, literally,
So-
like, I'm trying as hard as I can to, like, push through the pain, and I'm like, I'm done.
Because of my day-to-day is very sedentary. I don't do a lot every day. It's only when I'm lifting, and so my right shoulder doesn't stay in place all the time,
Yeah.
and that has gotten worse. Where I'm not lifting as much.
How are the knees?
Not good. So my right shoulder falls out of place anytime I do any kind of like upper body. My shoulder will just like get weak after about half hour, 45 minutes, and I can't keep it in place. I can't physically keep it where it's supposed to be. And then my right knee that I partially tore PCL,
Senior year.
partially tore a
Senior
muscle
year?
or two, junior year. And then I fractured my tibia, the weight bearing part of my tibia.
Yeah, you were gimpy junior year, and I was fucking playing corner.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You weren't very good at that. But I
They-
wasn't.
I remember, I'll never forget the conversation of me sitting down and Coach Bo and Coach D looking at me and going, "We're going to put you at corner." And I went, "Why?"
Why would you do that to us?
Like, why? I'm the slowest kid on the fucking team. Why would you put me at corner?
Well, your lateral speed's fantastic.
Buddy, I would I remember Trey getting pissed that I beat him in the 5-10-5 or whatever they call it, the pro shuttle.
Yep.
He was like, "How?" And I was like, "I don't know, but if we run a 40, you're gonna kick my ass."
Your lateral speed is amazing.
But I could not play man to man.
No, you could not.
That's why we didn't play man to man
Nope.
our junior year.
Nope.
But that was one of our best years of all 4 years. That was probably our best year.
That was one of them.
I was not part of it, but I will say I didn't. The only thing I'll boast myself about, I didn't give up big plays.
No.
I'd give up the underneath routes,
yeah.
and I'd rally to him.
And-
And Coach D would get mad at me
Yeah.
for certain things, but I'd be like, "Listen, Coach Bill always taught me GTFB,
You don't.
get the F
F
back."
You didn't give up the big play. I think it was more out of fear of giving up the big play.
It was.
But it was also good, and it worked with our defense. The way
I played 1 year of corner in my entire life.
it worked with the way that we were playing our defense.
That
so
year.
it was not.
I mean, it was
maybe
completely different from the year before, which was weird because the year before we had Sterling and Trone who could play man to man.
Yeah.
And then the next year we had me and a freshman.
Yep.
A guy who's never played corner before and a freshman playing corner. So corner is a pivotal spot at if they give up a one-on-one, you're screwed.
Yeah.
There's touchdown. And Ian obviously did way better than I did. He ended up getting off it. He was meant to be a corner. I just got thrown into position because of the circumstances. But could you imagine, who were our backup corners?
I have no idea. I honestly, to be honest,
They wanted Heidel at safety.
to be honest with you, I don't remember 90% of the people that we played with.
I remember the people I went to. I remember the twins. I remember Zane. I remember,
See, I remember the fat people.
but that's who you hung out with. And we played 7-on-7s. I was around these guys.
Yeah, we did one.
But you can't forget the twins.
No.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're enjoying today's guest. A lot of people ask me how they can support the Roughnecks podcast. So I wanted to take a quick break to tell you the best way to support the podcast is to buy and wear merch. We have merch available on our website, from hats, t-shirts, long sleeves, sweatshirts, and even coffee cups. There are even youth sizes available for the kids. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and make your purchase today. Thank you for all the support, but let's get back to today's guest.
All right. We'll go. Is it your turn?
It's your turn.
here we go. We got the list of emails. Pick one of them.
Let's do free time. Ooh, what is that?
What do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, I thought it was like I was expecting if you had all day to do something. Like if you had a whole day of free
I
time,
mean,
what
we
would you
could
do?
treat it that way.
No,
That's the thing. This is an open-ended question.
Yeah. So what do you do in your free time? Mostly right now, when I have free time, I either go to the gym. Well, I go to the gym, and then with the remainder of that time, I usually end up either making plans with somebody, like a friend, and going somewhere or going to their place and just like watching a football game or something like that, or I play video games. So that is quite literally the majority of my free time. Or on the weekends I'll go home and spend time with family. Every Sunday we have dinner at my grandparents.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You guys still do that?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah, we used to do
Because
that.
I remember you used to leave campus and go to your grandparents, and
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah.
Sierra is big. Like ever since we've been living together. Like during the week, we've started like trying to like easy meals, quick easy
Mhm.
meals. But like Saturday or Sunday, usually Sunday, we try to have like a bigger home cooked nice meal.
Yep.
And it's just us.
Yeah.
And we have leftovers. It is what it is. But it's like we want, and like we talked, like we want to instill that in like our kids too.
Yeah.
Like we want our kids to be able to be like, because she's like, that's what my grandparents always did.
Right.
And I remember like always one of the things that we've struggled at it lately, but I remember like I'd always be like, let's go eat at the table.
Yeah.
Let's stop sitting in front of the TV.
Yeah.
Let's go eat at the table, because like when you're sitting at the table, especially like when we eat at the couch on that table, like we're watching TV, we're not talking.
Yep.
We're just watching TV.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of conversation. It is what it is. But like when you sit at the table, it's just you're having a conversation.
Yeah.
So that's what I love is those home cooked meals, because it reminds me of growing up. And like I look at like it's so easy just to get caught in like, oh, we'll just it's a cooked meal, it's pizza, we'll eat in front of the TV and this whatever.
Yep.
But when you eat at the table as a family, even if it's just you and your significant other, it's like, man, this reminds me of like growing up,
Mhm.
and it's awesome.
It's really good. And to be honest with you, it's not something that happens very often. Like, especially now that we've moved out, me and my brother, like I just go and I take some food and I go sit in front of my computer while I work.
Yep.
And I just eat that way. Like I don't have any interaction with people when I eat. And so being able to sit down with my family at least once a week and have a meal and talk to them and interact with them, and I'm not the kind of person to talk very much.
Really?
I know, it's surprising, but
Well, I'm very impressed with how you've been on the podcast.
you like that?
I love it.
I can turn it on when I want to.
Well, we get a few of those Elvis juices in you.
It helps. But being able to like just sit down and like even when everybody's just eating and it's silent, like my family is a lot like me, where
Dude, it's so cool.
it's
One of the
so
coolest things
quiet.
when you sit there and all you hear is like forks.
Yeah,
And it's like, every once in a while, when you
and
sit
you're
back
just like
and you're
fine
like,
with it. You know what I mean?
and it's like, but we're like together.
Yeah,
It's a togetherness. thing.
yeah. And
Nobody's
so,
looking at their phone. Nobody's watching TV.
Yeah.
Everybody's just sitting there,
Yeah.
enjoying their meal,
Yeah.
as a family.
and it's something that I've come to appreciate. It was something that my mother made a big deal about. Was always big on let's eat dinner, at least dinner together, and she would always make something. She would always, home cook meal every dinner, and we had to sit down at the table as a family, all five of us, and it was a forced thing. Like we had no choice.
Yeah.
If you missed dinner,
Yep.
there was an issue pending a real,
Consequence.
excuse,
Yes.
right? Unless you had a really good excuse,
Unless you had a paper due in the next hour.
You had to be at dinner.
Yes.
And so when you're a kid and you're growing up, and you're like, this is stupid, right? Like,
Yeah.
and we had our phones, in high school, and we just wanted to be on our phones, and you'd be on your phone at dinner, sneaking in under the table, and they're like, get off your phone and let's just be together. And you're just like, well, this is dumb, right? This is a waste of my time. But it's not. It's really not. And it's something that I've come to appreciate. And so every week when we have that family dinner, even though I've moved out, even though it's just me usually driving, another 20 minutes out of the way, and gas is expensive, whatever, I don't care what the cost is.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Because it keeps me grounded. It keeps me sane. It keeps me connected with people that I don't usually talk to on a daily basis.
One of those things that I've realized, where it's worth it is, I don't have any grandparents left.
Yeah.
And I look at those times where I used to be sitting at the table with my grandparents, and I'm like, is it time to go home yet?
You're right.
Is it time? Can we leave
Can
yet?
we leave now?
Are we done?
Yeah.
It's like, why are we still sitting here for an hour after dinner talking?
Right.
But those are the moments that I appreciate the most.
Yep.
Now, I used to think they were so dumb. It was like I wanted to go home. I wanted to play video games.
Yep.
I just, whatever. But
Yep.
now you look back when you're older and you're like, man, I really appreciate that.
Yep.
Like those times that you had with your grandparents, with your parents. Because, let's be real. Now that we're getting a little older, we look at our parents like, they're gonna die eventually. I'm not gonna have them.
Yep.
Then my parents are older than yours. So I thinking about it, I feel like a lot more than, I don't want to say a lot more than you do, but it sets in a little more.
100%.
And because there's my dad, he came over the other night to help me with this wall spackling and everything, and walking down the steps, and I was like, do I need to get you a damn elevator? But I'm joking around, but I'm also looking at him going, he's getting old.
He's gonna fall down these stairs one day.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. I literally looked at him. I was like, you need to start walking around the back.
Yeah.
I'm walking in the back. If you're gonna come downstairs, you need to walk around. It's better, safer walk. But it's because, and he was like, yeah, I fell off the ladder the other day. And I remember looking at him going, why were you on the ladder?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, we were trimming a tree and it was raining.
Yep.
And I slipped. And I was like, Dad, you have 8 different people that you can call between me and my siblings.
Yep.
Call any of them and we come help you. And he's like, oh, we can still do it. And I'm like, there's Dad not allowing anyone else to help him. But I'm like,
and my dad would always ask us when we were me and my brother were teenagers, still in high school. He'd always ask us to help him, mow the lawn or whatever. And it's like, you mow the front, your brother mow the back, and while one of you is doing that, the other one will help me do this in the shed, do this with
you think it's so stupid.
Tree. And I'm like, okay, do you really need help with this, right?
No, but it was time to spend quality time.
It was time for him to spend time with us. And at the same time, it was a good time for us to learn how to do all these things. But then now he's like, okay, you guys are moved out. I don't want to bother you. And so I'm going to get up on this ladder that goes up to the roof, 2 stories up, and clean the gutters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, brother, don't no. No. You just got your knee replaced.
Yeah.
My dad just got his knee replaced a year ago, and 4 months after, he's up on a fucking ladder, and I'm like,
what are you doing? Call me.
You can barely go down the stairs. What do you want?
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, call me. Let me go up the fucking ladder.
Yes, it doesn't matter,
on, man.
We're not gonna be mad.
Yeah.
It's
I'll be annoyed by the fact that I have to go do this, but at the end of the day, I'd rather me do it than you.
And
Dude.
that's where me and Sierra are the same. That's what's nice is she's like, I've told her, I'm like, listen, if my mom or dad calls me or one of my siblings calls me, it's like, hey, I need your help with this. It's happening.
Yeah, that's it. That's
and
all I
she's
need.
the same way, which I really like.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that really drew me. That's why I think we connect really well. It's like, if my dad called me right now at whatever time it is,
Podcast is over. Let's go.
I'd be like, all right, Like I'm going over there.
And
like,
you know what the best thing about like us living together and us being who we are is I would go with you.
Yep.
And if my dad called right now, I would be like, I'm leaving, and you're like, okay, I'm coming with you.
What are we doing?
Yeah, right. It's like,
I think that's why we were able to live, like, because that's the thing. Like, I see a lot of people who live with, you live with this person, you live with this person, you live with this person throughout college. 3 out of 4 years, and it would have almost been 4 out of 4.
4 out of 4. And I not have a great opportunity to live in a brand new house.
Like, I don't blame you one bit. And honestly, that 1 year that I lived by myself also taught me a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was able to focus more on school.
You grew a lot that year.
My mom has always told me, she's like, the best thing for you to grow up was going to college.
Yeah.
She's like, you grew up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I got home from college, I thought, oh, fuck, I got everything figured out.
I'm a kid again.
But then I realized I have a lot more growing up to be.
Yeah.
Like, and with her, luckily, Sierra, my girlfriend, she's 2 years older than I am. She's a nurse, financially better, made me realize I thought I was in a financially pretty good place.
Yeah.
Wasn't.
Yep.
Had to learn to budget. I don't need to buy a 30 rack every 2 days.
Nope.
Like, it's to the point where I won't buy dip because I'm like, I don't need it.
Nope.
Like, financially, there's certain things that you look at, and like, she made me grow up a lot more too. And she's like, she always acts like, she's like, you weren't bad. And I was like, no, I had a lot of growing up to do when we met.
Yep.
And she doesn't know the old side of me necessarily, which I'm thankful for.
Yeah, thank God.
But I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I used to, because like she used to get on me sometimes, like, you drank this many times. And I'm like, no, like, it used to be every night.
It's better now.
And like now, like I said, this was my first night drinking
This whole week.
which was unheard of for me. Like, I would drink. I'll be honest, like, I would drink in college, 3 times a week, 4 times a week?
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is like, I would be planning on not doing anything, and someone would say,
Hey, you want to
hey, we're going to do this? I'm like,
sure,
yeah.
Let's do it.
Like, I was so ready to do anything with anyone that, like, no matter what it was, I was in.
Well, you didn't want to be the man out.
Yeah.
That was the thing in college. I feel like sometimes that struggled is like, you didn't want to be the guy that was like, nah, I'm good.
Right.
Because then you'd be like that guy. Because
then you don't get invited to anything.
Yes.
Right. And so you felt like you were missing out. And now I realize, I could have said no to so many things.
Yep.
And I could have passed on so many, nights of, let's go to the bar and come back at 2 a.m., drink more, and, not wake up in time for class.
Yep.
And you're just like, okay, what was the point of that?
Like, don't get me wrong. It's fine to do it every so often.
Mm-hmm.
Look, enjoy college.
Yeah.
Have fun with it.
Right.
But control yourself.
And
which is the thing that we had to learn in college is when to control and be like, I have an exam tomorrow that is worth 20% of my grade.
Yeah.
Like, I have to study for this.
And I will say, like, freshman year, we were bad about it, obviously, because,
but I feel like that's a common thing.
What freshman is not bad about it?
Yes, that's my thing. It's like, it is a very common thing to go in freshman year and think you can treat it like high school. You can go into a test like, I studied a little bit,
and
I'm fine.
The worst part for me,
you were better at it than I was.
No, I wasn't. I was good enough at school. I could get by with doing those things and still get good grades.
Yeah, you paid more attention in class. Me,
not even that. It wasn't even that. It was. I was so like, I could like, school was easy for me.
Yes.
School is not a difficult thing for me.
Yeah.
I can figure out school in a heartbeat. But after the base level stuff that you're supposed to learn, after that root level stuff, and you get into the deeper topics, that's where I start to struggle to understand. And when I struggle to understand, that's when it takes me more time to figure it out, right? And in order to get to a place where I could understand those deeper topics, I had to give up some things.
Yep.
Some of those nights. And
That's literally so. I just
freshman year, you even some of those like, first year classes, you were like, I don't get some of this stuff, but I don't care enough to learn it.
Yep.
So I'm just going to go out and drink with you. And I'm like, is the trade-off worth it?
Yep.
No. But we were in a place where like we didn't know any better.
Yep.
And then after that freshman year, like you said, your GPA was so low, and
it's a wake-up call.
Yeah, it is a wake. It's a huge wake-up call.
And like your GPA was still good, but it was lower than what you were used to.
Yeah. It was.
We all go through those spells of where it's like, what?
Spring semester of freshman year was the bad one for me. That was my wake up call.
Was spring semester.
Fall semester, I was fine, and I was like, I got this. This is easy. This is high school all over again. I can do this in my sleep.
And then the classes ramp up a little bit.
Then statistics was the big one for me, and I missed, I think, one day, and it wasn't because I had a night out. It wasn't because of anything. I think I was sick. I think I had strep.
Yeah.
And I missed it one day of class because I had strep. And the next time I went into that class, I was lost.
It's weird.
And
you miss one class in college, and it's like
I was lost.
You missed the whole world,
and I had no idea how to catch up. You could miss a class, and you had done that a couple times.
Yeah.
whether it be because of your own actions or not, you knew how to catch up.
Well, what helped me, I feel like, is I was a little better than you, better than you at like talking to people, and I'd be like talk to people that were in that class. And be like, hey, give me your notes. Yep. Give me what I meant. Like, tell me some 100%. Things. And that was one of the things that, and honestly, like, I wish I'd have started this podcast earlier, because I look at this podcast has taught me, like, because we were similar, where we're like, we weren't going to go just talk to a random person and be like, hey, like, let's talk about that.
I don't talk to people.
Yeah. The podcast helped me learn, like, you can talk to anybody. You can talk to anybody. The worst that's going to happen is they're not going to talk to you, or they're going to say no or whatever. And that was, honestly, I will say, one of the things that really opened my eyes was entrepreneurship class. I had it with the new professor, Steve Flaherty, who I still give a lot of credit to, because I remember one of the things he always talked about that was like the worst thing that's going to happen when you go talk to somebody is that they say no.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing that's going to happen. And he's like, and then whatever, you forget it. Because he started, he has a company that's working with the Air Force, working with these big companies, like big federal stuff, companies.
Yeah.
And he was like the worst. And I remember him, I still remember he emailed me or something, was like, hey, saw that you got one of our like guest speakers in that class to come on your podcast. I really like seeing you put yourself out there and like putting, like, just talking to people. And I was like, you know 100%. What, like, it was one of those compliments where that's when I kind of opened my eyes. Like, that's when I started messaging people, like, you know what, if they don't say anything back, whatever. If they tell me no, whatever, like, for the podcast. So, like, now I'm not afraid. Like, I've messaged Joe Rogan. I'll be honest, I have messaged Joe Rogan about coming on this podcast. Not afraid to admit, because I've also been like, you know what, he'll never open it, but if he does, it could be life-changing. Like, you never know what's going to happen.
100%.
But that was one of the things that I think that me and you were a little different about, is not that I was like so much better at it than you, because we were both not going to go talk to people.
Like, freshman year, I don't think we said 10 words after the first day we moved in. I don't think we said 10 words to each other for a week.
That was the thing. We didn't know each other. We met each other once before we moved in. For what, an hour, 2 hours?
Yeah, we went to McDonald's.
Like,
you were like, hey, show me through town. I was like, here's McDonald's. Here's
Dutch
things and dents. That's it. We're done.
That's
How would you like town?
my boss. My boss a couple times is like, yeah, I'm in the job like towards Plain City, and I'm like, Plain Shitty. There's nothing fucking
There's
there.
nothing fucking there, man.
And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I had a roommate from there. Like, my roommate was from fucking Plain City. I know there's nothing around. I was like, if we want food, we'll get McDonald's and maybe pizza.
There's Domino's now.
But it's easy to fall into the trap of freshman year.
Yeah.
Everybody, and it's a common thing. Like, if you're a freshman listening to this for some reason, it's common. If your GPA is down, or you're not doing as well as you expected in school, it's very common. But just know, now's the time to start taking in. Like, you can't keep going down that path.
Right.
And that's where I think we were both really good at. Like, we realized, like, we had those points in college where we're like, oh crap, things are going downhill. We both realized, like, all right, we got to change it. Like, it's got to fix. Then I'm glad my goal was to graduate with above a 3.0. I graduated with a 3.01. And I was so happy because I was like, after freshman year, getting a 1.5, that's all I wanted. I wanted to get, and that's huge. It took a lot of work. Yeah. It took a lot of, like, I'll be honest, it took a ton of work.
It took a lot of your time. And I was always impressed because when you made the decision to change, there was no looking back.
No.
There was no other option. There was freshman year Cole, and then there was sophomore year Cole. And they were two completely different people. And sophomore year Cole had things figured out.
I'd go to the library till it closed.
Yeah. Because
I knew that was the only time I'd focus enough.
Yeah.
To actually work on things.
You put yourself
I would go to the library
where you could succeed
till it closed.
It was impressive, and I never did
have to go to the library to, like, you didn't have. You could sit in a room.
I could sit in a room with
like
TV on and read notes. And be like, okay, I'm good.
I couldn't. I'd like just get distracted and start playing video games.
I would too, and I would still be good. I don't know why.
Like, senior year, I always went out to the study room.
Yeah,
that's just what I did because I was like, if I don't, I won't focus and I'll lose track of what I'm supposed to do.
And the fact that you recognize that and like were able to figure that out was so important for your development.
Oh, 100%. 100%. All right, we'll go to the next question.
All right.
We only got a couple more left.
I don't think you answered your free time question.
Okay. Free time. What do I do in my free time? I mean, let's be real. You know what I do in my free time.
Drink.
No. I mean, yes, but no. My free time.
You work on the basement now.
But yeah, anymore. Because now, especially that where it's at, I'm like, I got to get it finished.
Yep.
That's what she's mad at. She was like, we were supposed to paint tonight. And I was like, I have a podcast. I told you we were not painting because I'm not sitting down here getting high on the paint smell.
I mean, it could.
No, my free time, my big free time activity is hunting.
Yeah.
And senior year is when I spent a lot of time. I came home every weekend.
Yeah, you did.
And hunted. And that's senior year is when I got him.
I know.
So I was very grateful. But
You got the shell on his antler?
Yep.
Is that what that is?
That's what the shell that killed him. It's wrote on their date too. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is a little bit of a trophy thing, but I don't consider myself a trophy hunter.
No.
But I have like $1,000 in that deer.
Yeah.
Because it was like 500 and something to mount on, plus 300, 400, whatever it was to get the meat processed. Which I recently just made my own deer jerky.
Did you really?
It turned out pretty good. For my first time.
You said very, and then
pretty good.
Pretty good.
Everybody else that ate it, was like, man, that's really good. And I'm like, isn't that? Like, I don't know. I'm a stickler. I'm like, is it that great? And my brother was like, no, that's good. And he was like, I want to try that with some of my beef from my cow. And I was like,
my 10-year-old cousin got a.
Shut up.
Sorry.
No, the funny is, so
was it 10 point?
I think that's what you told me. Yeah,
it was a 10 point.
I had a couple of nice.
He was a big old boy.
He
was a big boy.
The encounter I had with my buck this year pissed me off so much, but I love it, and it was hunting in a way. So like the deer, I'll tell the story real quick. People that listen a long time heard it, but so I was hunting this year. I probably sent you some pictures of like the deer right by the house.
Yep.
They're right there by the house.
Yep.
And I was like, all right, come, opening day is probably one of the few chances I'll get at these couple big bucks that I haven't, like, that I really want this year. Because my thing is, like, I'm going to shoot a doe pretty much every year. Like, I'm going to do it just for the meat. And I really want a nice buck. Like that. Like, I'm not a trophy hunter. I'm not a person that, like, if I don't get a buck, I'm going to be disappointed. Like, I'm going to shoot. Like, I shoot deer for the meat, but I also want a nice buck. So I was sitting there. I ended up hunting right by the house behind a shed. I sat behind a shed and was hunting there. And I was out there the first day of the season. It was hot as crap. I still had, like, I was sweating in my camo gear. And they didn't come in at the time that they normally come in. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm not going to see anything. Of course, the first day out, they already changed their patterns. I'm not going to see them. And my brother-in-law, I was sitting right behind the barn. He came around the fucking barn and he was like, man, they're usually in by now. And I remember looking at him like, shut the hell up. They're coming down the hill right now. Like, they're literally like
right here,
60 yards away from me. And this deer, my target buck was walking the perfect path that I needed him to walk. And I would have had a 30-yard shot with my bow, which I'm most comfortable with 20, but I'd have been comfortable with 30 as well. And he was coming in, and I was like, I already spotted it. I was like, if he's there, he's at 30 yards. I have a perfect shot. And he came to the tree line, which was 50 yards away, which I spotted later, and stopped. My nieces and nephews were outside because I was right behind the house, and they were outside, and they like were making some noise, but like nothing crazy. But like I just remember him like stopping, looking over in their direction, turning around and walking back in the woods, and I'm like, no.
You're not
like,
allowed. No.
He was literally like, so like he was here, the tree line's here. He was on the edge of the tree line, and if he would have walked right where they've been coming, it's 30 yards. But he like stopped here, tucked back up into the woods, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!"
Yep.
And I was literally like walking back and forth on this shit, but texting my brother-in-law like, "Which side is he on?" And he's like, "He's right in the middle," and I'm like, "That's why I can't see him because like." And there's also like four other deer, so I'm trying to like not to draw the attention of those deer.
Right.
So like I'm walking back and forth, and he's like, he told me later, he's like, "Yeah, I was on the phone with his brother." And he was asking me what I was doing. I was like, oh, I'm watching Cole play cat and mouse with this deer. He's standing at the tree watching it happen, like literally like 100 yards, not even 100 yards away, watching it happen. And
Awesome.
but I was so mad because I was like, that's the deer that I wanted this year. And I remember gun season, he sent me the neighbor's shot a nice buck, and he sent it to me, and I was like, that's my buck. That's the deer I've been after. And like I pulled it up, and he was like, "No, it's not the same deer." He's like, "They shot it like, 3 roads down." And I was like, "Okay." So he's still out there. And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." But I haven't been out hunting as much this year. It's weird. Like once you adult, you don't have as much free time as you'd like to have.
Who'd have thought?
I know. Because like I remember like in college, like I was always at my sister's, like fishing, hunting, doing everything, like doing whatever. And then now that like adulting happens, like I come home and I'm like, I could go hunting, or I could work on the basement. Yeah, like or I could sleep, or I could take a 2-hour nap.
Yeah.
Your I don't want to say priorities, but like your life changes.
No, it does. Your priorities change.
Yeah,
100%.
Like I've been up since 5 a.m.
They're supposed to. They're supposed to.
Yeah. Well, that's what I had a guy on. He actually correlates into hunting, but he has owns a nonprofit organization that takes like veterans and stuff on hunts.
Yeah.
And he was talking because I remember, being a business guy, I was like, your mission statement. I love your mission statement. I love what it stands for. And he's like, yeah, you're talking about his mission statement, like the business mission statement. But it's like, I think everybody should have a personal mission statement.
Yeah.
And he's like, the thing is too, that's going to change over time. That's what a lot of people fail to understand. He's like, you have a wife, it changes. You have kids, your mission statement changes. Like everything, it changes over time.
Yep.
And that, like, everybody thinks like, oh, mission statement, it has to end up like this. No, it's going to change.
Yeah.
Your goal in life is going to change depending on your circumstances.
100%.
All right. One more question. Dan gets to pick it.
I do.
Oh no, I get to pick it
I was
because
gonna
you pick
say.
3 times.
Yeah.
Off the grid. Catches my eye. If you could go off the grid and live anywhere, where would it be?
That's a good one.
I got 2 places
Do you?
already. Yep.
Yeah.
2 places.
I got
First off, would you like living off the grid? Like no one knowing where you're at?
no one.
Obviously your family would know, but like
Close family, close friends. Yeah, I'd be fine with it.
I would too. I almost did it.
But yeah. If my family and friends knew where I was, yeah, I'd be good with it.
Where would you live?
That's the tough part.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything other than Ohio.
Same.
You know, like
We've always lived in Ohio.
in my head, like, you know, Texas sounds great. But
Is that an off the grid place?
is that off the grid? I don't know.
I mean,
And
yeah.
it is in a sense, but it is, right? And so to be quote unquote off the grid, you have to have a lot of things set up, and in order to accomplish that, you have to be in a specific area where people are willing to set that kind of stuff up for you.
Just imagine, like, money's not an issue. No, like somebody went up to you and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put you off the grid."
Yeah.
So just like imaginary land, you have the place to go, no matter what.
I would say Tennessee.
Ooh, that's a different one. Like, I don't think that's one that like people like immediately think to.
Yeah.
'Cause, like mine, I feel like are common.
Yeah.
But I like that because you can live off the grid. Like I'm sure there's people that do it in
Exactly.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that because it's still mountains.
That's what I was thinking of.
It's still close to home.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And
like
it's
that.
still south, so it's still
Yes.
warm.
Still a little warmer. I just got memories, speaking of which, of Tennessee when me and that group, Hunter, Joe,
We went in the
Smoz,
mountains,
we went to Tennessee. oh
stayed on a house in a
God.
mountain for,
Oh,
yeah.
that was a rough weekend.
That was a great weekend.
It was awesome. Oh, it was rough. No, mine, the first 2 that come to mind. The first one that comes to mind is obviously Alaska.
That's off. That is
Off the grid.
off the grid.
And I've looked this year and been like, let's move to Alaska. And she's like, no. And I'm like, why not? She's like, no.
Screw that.
And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like
That's too off the grid.
she like wants to go. She's like, I could visit there for like, and like I've heard with Alaska, like you go for like 2 weeks to a month. Like, you
Yeah.
don't go for like a little bit. Like you
Yeah.
go to spend time
Yeah.
there. And like I before I die, I will go to Alaska for 2 weeks to a month. Like,
Yeah.
it will happen.
You should.
Like I have a map. We have it upstairs in our bedroom of the United States, and you can insert a pic. Like you can print off a picture and put it in.
Put it in there.
And
yeah.
my goal is to fill up all of this. And then, like we've talked. So this summer, like my family goes to the beach every 2 years, and we're doing that. But I was like, in between, I was like, we need to like take that money that we normally save for a beach vacation, and just put it into going to a different state, like going away for a week.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, here's the deal. I was like, in 2024, we're going out west, one of the states. I don't care. And she's like, what do you want to do? Like at multiple states? And I was like, the problem is when you go out west, you can go spend a week in one state and it's not enough.
Yeah.
Like, you can go out to Montana and spend a week, and there's still so much to see. I was like, I want to go. Like, I want to be able to enjoy my time in Montana, in Idaho,
100%.
in Nevada, whatever it is. Like, I want to go spend the time and see multiple attractions and see multiple. Like, I don't care if we go from literally the top of the state to the bottom of the state, like all over the entire state for that week. But I want to spend my time in that state. So, like, my goal in life is to finish and see every state in my lifetime.
And has told me, because he drives from, or he used to drive from Texas to Ohio.
Yeah.
And he goes, Arkansas is like,
there's so many underrated states.
He goes, Arkansas is like the most beautiful state. He was like, that's the place. Like, you're driving through Arkansas. He was like, I don't even like remember how much time it took. Because he was like, I was so encapsulated with everything else.
That's one of the cool things.
It almost didn't like.
He got to see a lot of.
Like, it almost didn't matter how long it took. He was in that place. It didn't matter.
He took the moment in.
Yeah.
He didn't just. There's the.
He's
moment.
one of those guys.
He is. And that's what I feel like. That's why also we connected to Teddy a little bit too, because it's like Teddy took it in.
Yeah.
And like he enjoyed. Because I remember, like, those nights when we're just sitting there drinking beers in the fucking dorm room, and he's just like, I love you guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Teddy, I love you too.
Yeah,
but it's one of those, like,
yeah.
you like look back now, and you like, he was taking the net.
Yeah.
He was realizing, like,
being in the moment.
This was the moment, and I love this.
Yeah. And I struggle with that a lot, is being present where I'm at.
Yeah.
And, like, that's something that I need to work on, is literally just being present where I'm at and making connections with people while I'm with them. Because not only am I introverted, but like with COVID and everything, and like
it didn't.
Dude,
I don't want to say it hurt, but it didn't.
No, it hurt. It hurt big time. Because even with
our senior year got fucking screwed.
Even with some of our close friends in college, I don't keep in contact with them like I normally would, because I feel like I'm inconveniencing them or whatever it may be.
Dude,
with
when Ohio State was playing Georgia, I was thinking about it. I was like, I should message Trey, like when we first started the game, and be like, "Go Bucks."
Yeah.
But I was like, he's gonna think I'm being annoying.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to, like, I didn't do it because I thought I was going to be annoying.
Right.
And now looking back, I'm like, I should have done it.
Should have just done it.
Like,
right?
he'd have had fun with it.
Exactly.
Like,
he would have appreciated that.
Yeah. Like, because Trey, I mean, like, not that we were super close or anything.
No.
But, like, he'd have been like, man, it's cool. Like, we haven't,
right.
Like, I Snapchat Wyatt every day.
And I think about every time I see, like, a KD's story or something.
The KD's cakes and all that kind of stuff.
I'm like, dude, I want to message him so bad and say,
I
love what you're doing. I'm proud of what you're doing. I love seeing your success. You know, all these things. I want to say all these things. And in the back of my head is just,
you're being dumb. You're being
I'm
annoying.
just being annoying. And
I will tell you,
I can't get the words out.
I know. I get it. Trust me, I'm from the same spot as you. I will tell you, as like a creator, as whatever you want to call it, somebody that has their business or whatever.
Yeah.
That is one of the best things to hear from like a friend or from somebody you haven't heard from in a long time.
Even you.
Yeah.
Like,
I get it. Trust me, I get it.
Even you being as close as we are, and you're working on this podcast, you're working on, you know, the pools, and you're doing all this, like, you're busy, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to interrupt his day. I don't want to inconvenience him.
Oh, I get it.
And I'm
100%.
like, hey, but at the same time, and like, you send me videos all the time of, you know, you working on this, you're working on this. And I'm like, I feel bad not responding, but I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And
it's hard sometimes. Here's the thing too, like, and I've seen it where like somebody will send me something and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to say.
Right.
All the time. And it's like, as a creator, if I send you something, it's like, sometimes I'm like, I want a response, but like, that's the wrong reason to send it at the same time.
Right.
So when they don't respond, sometimes we take it the wrong way, like, oh, they think it's stupid, they think it's dumb. But at the same time, I also look at myself where I'm like, do I respond to everything?
Right.
Do I give the feedback that I honestly? And here's like the thing too, as being a creator, I'd rather somebody look at me sometimes and be like, that's stupid. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, you're right. Because I've been on the edge and all I needed was somebody to tell me that's dumb.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Because I ask Sierra all the time. I'll go upstairs after I've been working on the podcast for 2-3 hours, and I'll be like, is this dumb? And she'll give me a response, and I'll be like, and if it's negative, I'm like, that's what I needed. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, that's what I needed. Because I was on the edge about it. Otherwise, I wouldn't ask.
Right.
So, and it goes back and forth. And like, but I don't always get mad when I don't get a response because it's like, I know, same thing. I don't want to inconvenience them. I know they're busy.
Right.
If they respond, they might be busy. They might be hanging out with family.
And
They may
that's-
be doing this. They may
that's
be
like
doing that.
With this pallet wall, with the drywall,
you
with the
saying-
back patio,
You
like
saying
everything
the other
you've
day
been
when I
doing.
sent you a picture of that and you were like, dude, that's awesome. Awesome. Like that makes you feel something.
Right.
Like it's the littlest win that you're
Right.
like, because that wall is what? 2.5 foot wide,
Right.
like and 7 foot
Like,
tall.
dude, that's cool as shit. Though. Like,
Like I for people who don't know, I'm talking about the pallet wall that you'll see on Instagram. But like that wall, like I literally sat in the exact spot you're sitting and was staring at it, going, I did that.
yeah,
Like, and she's like, sometimes like you did that, but like I helped. And my boss told me today because he was like, yeah, the pallet wall was good. And I was like, yeah, Sierra did a lot of the work. And he's like, you give a lot of credit elsewhere. And I was like, I give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
She did it.
Yeah.
Like she did a lot of the work.
and she did.
I did
But
the easy work.
I will say that back patio.
She did a lot of work as
I
well.
know she did. I know she did. But
The
at
only thing
same
I'll say
time,
about that,
you did a lot of the work too.
she wouldn't
and
know how to do it
The
if it
entire
wasn't
the
for me.
entire process of watching that go in through videos that I got, like,
It took
and-
months.
and they were minute-long videos of you explaining what's going on. And I was just like, I don't know why you're sending this to me. And I didn't understand at all what was going on.
No, if you sent me something that you were doing at work,
But
I wouldn't
then-
understand.
But then at the end, and you showed me, this is what it looks like, and now this is like what I've done, and this is the progression that we took, and like I've seen it from start to finish, essentially.
You appreciate it a little more.
And I'm like, dude, that looks really good, and you did a really good job.
Oh, I can still,
But
I can still go out there and tell you this
I'm
is wrong. This
thinking-
is wrong. This is wrong.
I'm thinking that, right? I'm thinking, oh, that's really cool. He did a really good job. And even while you were building it, I'm like, this is a really cool idea. I'm glad he's doing this. But I never said anything.
But like, see, I feel like with us, we know
Yeah.
when we look at each other. Like
Yeah.
if we send each other a text, to Snapchat, whatever it is, if we don't respond, it's like they read it, they understood
They
it,
know.
they
Yeah.
know what's going on.
Yeah.
There's certain people that you'll send it to, and you're like, damn, they didn't respond.
Yeah.
Like and like I'll send pictures to my boss or something sometimes, like of things that I've done. He doesn't respond, and I get worried. I'm like, did I do something wrong?
Did I screwed up? Right.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Because like I'll be honest, like my boss is one of my biggest influences on my life anymore. Like
And a good one, too.
a good one,
Yeah.
very good one. And there's a lot of people that I can give a lot of credit to. Like I could spend a whole episode talking about it, but I've talked about my boss a lot on this, and I've tried to get him on, but he won't do it. Whatever, because he always says the internet's forever, man. I'm like, I can edit, so if you want me to cut something out, I can do it. And he's like, I don't know, but he eventually told me, he's like, if I ever do a podcast, I'll do yours. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, cool, I appreciate that. So, but like, I give a lot of credit to, and I've told him, like, dude, man, I give a lot of credit. Like, I've learned a lot through you.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when we met, I'd have never thought I'd have been able to do that patio. Never. I'd have never thought I'd have been able to do that drywall.
Yeah.
I'd have never thought I'd have been able to do that pallet wall. Like, all these things. And I've learned a lot. And it's not even like, he's just taught us minor things. There was one day we were at the shop, we had to replace a toilet, something on the toilet. And he looked at me and Brent and was like, hey, you guys want to see how to do this? He's like, I know it seems stupid, but like, I wish somebody would have showed me this when I was your age.
Yeah.
And it was like, honestly, yeah, like, I don't know how to do it, so you might as well just show me.
Right.
Like, I'd rather, even if I come that time, I don't know exactly how to do it. I kind of have a rough idea of what to do. So, like, yeah, he's been one of the biggest influences in my life lately, especially, and I really do give a lot of credit to him. So I truly do appreciate it. Man, 2 hours of Q&A Friday. Hell of a time.
Is that a big one?
That's the longest Q&A Friday.
Well, I hope it was worthwhile.
Wait till they hold my beer.
That's going to be a long one.
The longest episode I've ever made is 3 hours. And I literally just said the other night that I don't ever want to do another one of those again. But I was like, here's the problem: is it's so fun in the moment.
Yeah.
But then I remember I have to edit.
Yeah.
So that's what's hard.
Yeah.
So like I do all my editing myself and everything. So that's what's the difficult part. But 2 hours of Q&A, not going to be too bad at it. So I'll have fun with it. Really appreciate you coming on.
Anytime.
It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
It has been.
It's been probably over a year?
Over a year. 100%.
Since we graduated, graduation? It was, you came to my house for the grad quotation parts.
Yeah.
Grad party that I had.
Party.
AKA we had a bonfire and got
Hammered.
had some beers. We'll put it that way. But that's I think that was last time. So it would have been what, May, June. We'll say June
We'll say
at the
June.
latest.
Yeah. It was a year and a half. 100%.
Yeah, year and a half since we've seen each other. We've kept in contact, but it's weird. Like it's like high school a little bit, like where you graduate and you're like, yeah, those people just not disappear, but like you don't talk to them as much.
Yeah.
I don't talk to my high school people as much as I talk to my college people.
Yep.
But appreciate you coming back, coming and visiting. Love these in-person episodes. But
I'm glad to be here.
we got another one to do too. That's
Yeah,
what's
we
going to
do.
be even better.
It's gonna be good.
Yes, it's going to be. If you guys want to tune in, so this is 140. 146 will be Hold My Beer with me and Dan, and it's going to be a good time.
It's gonna be
You will
great.
not want to miss that one. But tune in to 140 and 146. But until next time, you guys know the deal. Life is hard. It's going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. Don't let that bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Roughnecks out.
Thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you liked today's episode, then please be sure to share it with a friend. You can follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Roughnecks Podcast. Head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab yourself some Roughnecks merch. Until next time, make sure you grab the bull by the horns and take control of your life. Roughnecks